Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Welcome to the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Lush Lawn. Hey, I have full communication with you this morning. Jane Logston, thanks for watching, and Barry Schaefer, good morning to you. And yeah, I'm a coffee drinker now, see. And the nice thing is my grandkids can give me a mug. It's grand to be Papa, that's for sure. Black coffee. I've tried it on the weekends with my friends. They use Carol Ann's. It's all right, but if I'm going to drink coffee, I want it to be a little bit on the healthy side. A couple of questions for you. Where are you going for spring break? I'm going to write a post about that for next week, as it seems like a lot of schools are on spring break next week. And now my son dropped off a Keurig machine for me. I got the little cup. Now I got to choose out the coffees. So help me with that too. And let's get to it. You probably didn't like my headline. I see we only have 98 people here. The reason why, you're tired of winter and you don't want to hear the news. So, hey, if you could hit the share button, and we got to tell you about it anyways. So, Old Man Winter hanging on. Right now, we have a kind of a mixed bag. It shows freezing rain. There are some reports of freezing rain through Gaylord, Grayling area into the northeast. Around the Traverse City area, reporting drizzle. And then you see another area of snow developing out in Wisconsin. So let's first off look at the short term, okay? This is going to be the high resolution rapid refresh. Marge Stevens gets to go upstairs for spring break. Marge, what's up with that? You need a little bit more excitement than that. Go to Indiana or something like that. Okay, so here is the radar forecast for this morning. Spritzels, isolated pockets of moisture. Southeast, mostly dry. Lansing, mostly dry. Grand Rapids, a little more spritzely, if you would say. Oh, K-Cups, my favorite. Javalia Dark. Hey, good morning, Cape Cod. Good morning, Carrie Myers. Thanks for watching. London, England for spring break. I'll have to check that one out for you. Jenny Steele checking in from rainy Florida. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, this is this afternoon. I better shut up and give you the weather here. This is 5 o'clock and 6. So it looks like an area of showers. I would call them light to maybe at times moderate. And then as we go into the nighttime, that starts to transition over to I can't say it. And so we will have some of that white stuff overnight. How much? Not much. The ground is warmed up a little bit. Here's the snowfall forecast, and you might find a dusting. You might find an inch in some places, like in the northeast and around the Grand Rapids and Holland and Saugatuck area. So, hey, Nancy Goodchild from Clinton Township, Wyoming, Michigan, checking in. Vicki Van Nord, good morning. And Tammy Van Kleck, thanks for watching. So, let's go into the long term here. And we're going to look at the European model. Now, I was looking at that the last couple of days, and we have a nasty, messy storm system coming next week. Still the case, it has shifted north. It has been the trend that it has not been God, so to speak. It's not been perfect. So it's coming a little north, and that's a little bit warmer of a little bit warmer of a solution. Hey, good morning, Nicolette Skrelly. What's the sun total? Doesn't the forecast include that? The sun total is just about zero here. So what we're looking at is Saturday now, and it is colder, and we've got snow showers around. And now we're looking into Sunday, and look at the flow. Look at where it comes from. It comes from Hudson Bay. So that is a winter flow. You see the warmth building to the west. Monday, we're still in the cold. Now, this is the European with a about 100-mile north farther solution. And at this time of the year, excuse me, at this time of the year, that can make all the difference in the world on temperature. You'll see that in a second here. So here comes the storm system. That's Tuesday late into Wednesday. And then after that, we get back into the cold air, although not as cold. And the warmth not into our area. We're 10 days out, April 2nd now. Warmth not into our area, but trying a little bit. I have a lot of farmer friends. I have a seed dealership where I represent a company and get seed, corn, soybean, alfalfa seed to farmers and whatnot. And they're always nervous about late March. The rest of the family is sick of the gray and wants to go on spring break. And farmers in my area, Frankenmuth and the Thumb and Reese and Munger and all this area, Caro, they plant sugar beets. And sugar beets can be planted March 25th if the ground is okay. They can handle the cold. And I'm telling them, go on vacation. We've got wet and we've got too cold. So you're going to be good until you get into at least the first week of April, at least. Okay, a little closer of a look here. And this just shows you, let's see, this shows you today, the rain showers transitioning to snow showers overnight. And tomorrow, some spurts of rain or snow, and Saturday and Sunday snow showers. Almost looks like a couple of lake effect bands could develop. Now, next week, remember we were watching this storm, starts with a mixture, but on the warmer solution from the European, it gets lower Michigan into rain eventually on Wednesday, and then moves on to the east and keeps us kind of on the cold side. High temperatures today, well, maybe 50 in Detroit and Ann Arbor, but otherwise it's gloomy 40s. And tomorrow about 50 degrees, so I guess not a terrible Friday. Saturday, the cold coming down the lake. Look at Grand Rapids, a high of 36 on Saturday. Traverse City in the 30s. East side of the state, maybe in the low 40s. Sunday, Sunday, is this late March or is this late January? High temperatures in the 20s, upper 20s, and Monday in the low 30s. Tuesday in the 40s. Now here's Wednesday, and this is a great learning lesson on the temperature structure around a storm system. I think this is one of the most important things that you can understand. So we show you the big red L. That's the center of the storm system. That's the low pressure center. That's where the air is the lowest pressure, the lightest air, right in the center of the storm. And that's how we find the center of the storm. South and east of the center of that storm, you get a southerly wind, and an incredible bulge of warm air can come up. Then there's the warm front, and then it goes, a classic example is upper 60s to near 70. 10 miles north, it's in the 50s. 10 miles north, it's in the 40s. 10 miles north, it's in the 30s, and you're in a snowstorm. That's a classic, tightly wrapped spring storm. And the European is trying to indicate that. Now, if it shifts back to the south 50 miles, Saginaw is back into the cold in Grand Rapids. If it shifts south 100 miles, it might even make it to Detroit or Ann Arbor or Oakland County. If it shifts a little in the north, you might get the warmth almost to Traverse City. But this is a classic spot at this time of the year for the warmth to make it up about halfway, and it remains cold and snowstorm in the northern half of the state. And that's next Wednesday, and then as that sweeps through, we get back to colder than normal temperatures. And like I said, keep chopping the wood, get the fire really stoked up. Husband loves Hawaiian coffee he buys ever since our 20th anniversary. We were in Hawaii. Okay, Jane Logston. Okay, And when we were in Hawaii some years ago, I never even had any inkling to drink coffee. I just started in September or so of this year. Low temperatures Friday in the 30s, Saturday in the 30s, Sunday morning low temperatures in the 20s and teens, Monday teens, single digits, maybe a below zero reading. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I got to look back, great thing about our little exchange here is that I can go back in the recorded part of this and I can look at the types of coffee you recommend. Is there freezing rain right now in Grayling Milo area? Yes, there is. There has been some reported. You should get easily above 35 degrees in the next hour or two, and you'll be fine. Michigan cherry coffee from Meyer is the best. That actually does sound good. I'm not so sure that I like this stuff. I kind of acquired a taste, but it kills the appetite for a couple of hours, I noticed. And I'm a breakfast eater, and I'm trying to do that intermittent fasting where I only eat between about 10 and 6, 10 in the morning, 6 at night. And they talk about how that helps, your blood sugar go down and then you can burn fat. So that's where I found this will get me through. We're 9:30. I got another half hour before I can make some breakfast. So I do appreciate all of the recommendations. I recommend Black Rifle Coffee, says Eric Bell. This is going to be very interesting because these are things I've never even heard of. And I got to see what the difference is. So far, this is, I used up all the Keurig cups that my son left because he thought when he'd come over, I don't drink coffee. He drinks a lot of coffee. My daughter, well, I used all his Keurig cups. So now this is Folgers dark roast or something like that. Black Rifle 100%, says Fritz Ball. So I'm going to have to check this Black Rifle thing out. Kahlua coffee is good. All right, so there you have it. We have a lesser and lesser amounts of precipitation. We've had an absolute soaking the last couple of days in a lot of places. Lawrence Walla, how does it look for travel into the Grayling area this evening? It will change back over to snow. I think you could wind up with a little bit of a coating on the roads, but I wouldn't call it a terrible driving condition. Kona coffee is delicious, but very expensive. I remember we went to Kona, the Kona Coast in Hawaii. That is on, I can't remember what island that's on. That's on the Big Island, I think it is. On the east side of the Big Island, it's rainy all the time. On the west side, the Kona Coast, it's kind of like almost deserty. National Arbor Day Association. All right, so hey, I got some more friends. I got a bunch of coffee drinkers. We'll see how this goes. Thanks. Okay, the Kona Coast is on Maui, maybe. Okay, that could be. Black Rifle Coffee coming up again. Oh, this is still Eric Bell. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully you got some weather out of this. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Lush Lawn. Thanks for sticking with me. We've got some weather to go. Some things to watch out for here in April. Cold enough air is still in place that we could get a snowstorm. We have to have the right setting at this time of the year. The cold air has to come in, has to go all the way down to about halfway into Ohio and Indiana so that when the storm comes, remember I told you it has a surge of warmth and that warmth can't make it into Michigan. That's how we get a snowstorm out of this. And we got to start thinking about severe weather because if these storms stay robust and we get into the warm sector, then we start to get into the tornadoes like they have been in the south. Typically, it's strongest right now, and that's why the southeast has the strongest tornadoes. And then as everything shifts northward, the wind energy and the jet stream weakens some, typically, but certainly not always. Mike Predmore is ready to go back to Aruba. I've been there one time too, although the trees lean a certain way because the wind is just consistently, I think, out of the east there. Five Shores Brewery coffee is great. Celeste has never heard of Black Rifle. Yeah, where do we buy this? Where do we buy this Black Rifle coffee that everybody's talking about? Hey, thanks for watching. This is meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and I'll keep you updated on the weather going across Michigan. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update, brought to you by Lush Lawn.